Father wanted to see if his son was a chess prodigy, but after only 5 moves, he had already won. However, he didn't even realize he had won. It wasn't until his son gave him a subtle glance.
Oh, checkmate. You see, I've got you here and here. See?
Before leaving, he proudly boasted about his victory to his wife, but his wife said,
"You don't get it? Doesn't want to beat his daddy."
The father felt resentful, so he decided to play another game with his son.
She thinks you're throwing the game. You know what that means? Throwing the game?
Yeah. It's okay to beat him. You won't hurt his feelings.
In this game, the father was more cautious with each move, but he was moving too slowly, so his son and his sister started playing with toys. He was still thinking about his next move, but by the time he finally figured it out, his son didn't even look at the board, and took one of his pieces without hesitation. The game continued until evening, and the father never left his seat, but his son even started taking a bath.
Move my horse in front of my king.
Okay. He's gonna lose his queen.
Oh, really?
Did you do it?
Yeah?
Can we go out now?
Well, the game's not over yet, Josh.
Yes, it is.
This was Josie's first time playing chess. There was no doubt that he had an amazing talent for chess. This surprised his father, Fred. In order to prevent his son's rare talent from going to waste, he immediately decided to find him a good teacher. With reverence and apprehension, he brought Josie to Master Bruce's workshop and begged him to take his son as a disciple.
I was talking to the guy at my paper who writes the chess column. He told me I could find Bruce Pandolfini here. I'm looking for a teacher for my son.
I don't teach anymore.
Well, he was sure that you did.
I don't.
After being refused, he prepared to leave with his son. But when he walked over to Josie, he was shocked to discover that his son was engaged in a fierce battle with Bruce's senior disciple. His face was innocent, but his moves were as fast as lightning, unconsciously exuding a decisiveness and composure that belied his age. The opponent knitted his brows, trouble written across his face, clearly engaged in a fierce battle. But soon, the sound of pieces being moved came to an abrupt halt. The opponent was stunned. This 7-year-old child had forced him into a position where he had no moves left. In the end, he could only reluctantly concede defeat. Perhaps to comfort his defeated opponent, Josie generously gave him his candy as he left.
Thanks.
However, all of this was observed by Bruce, who was standing at a distance. He began to feel curious about this young boy, so he quietly followed them to the park. This was Josie's happy paradise. His favorite thing to do was to play chess with the chess enthusiasts there. Among them, Wes was his mentor and friend. He taught Josie how to play a 3-minute quick game, and told him how to seize fleeting opportunities in a chaotic situation. Most importantly, Josie also learned from him to enjoy the pure fun of playing chess itself. Therefore, their games were often filled with laughter and joy. This also attracted a crowd of onlookers. Among the crowd today, Bruce was also present. He stood aside observing, as if wanting to verify some conjecture in his mind. Sure enough, the next day, Bruce approached Fred and invited him to the chess tournament venue. The atmosphere here was worlds apart from the relaxed one in the park. The chess players sat at their tables, their faces solemn. Some of them had been national champions, while others were professional players ranked among the top in the world. These people had spent their entire lives pursuing an unattainable dream, to become the next world champion. But the harsh reality was that most of them, after exhausting all their efforts, ended up as prisoners trapped within the confines of the chessboard. Not only were they lost in the quagmire of victory and defeat, but they could never reach the lofty honor and realm they aspired to. However, Bruce saw hope in Josie. He decided to make an exception and take Josie as his disciple. Yet Bruce's first lesson gave Josie a harsh wake-up call.